So, as you can tell, first off, I finally got a haircut. Second, I shaved the mustache, but I'm already growing it back because way too many people think that I'm only like 1920, and it's like, no, I'm 31. So, alright. This video is going to be on economics because I saw somebody point that out in the last video, and in the last video I was just kind of half talking on some things, but let's go ahead and dive into economics real quick. First off, economics is not a means of making profit. Yes, it can lead to means of making profit. Economics is the weighing of what is more precious. Like, you're spending your time listening to me rant and ramble rather than watching something else. You basically conducted economics without realizing it. You thought that this video is more worth your time than something else. So that's economics. I won't go into the full detail because I don't want to bore you. What do I plan to do for the 14th district here in the state of Ohio? Well, first off, there are a couple contributing factors that always lead to poverty and economic downturn. That being lack of jobs, drug addiction, mental health, and high cost of living. We can't just keep throwing money at problems and hoping that it gets solved. Look at California. They spend $4.4 billion every year on their homeless problem, but yet the camps get bigger, the gates get larger, and it's near impossible to live out there. So, how am I handling this? Well, the other day I met with a person here down in Portsmouth in Scioto County who wishes to donate land and materials to establish a mental health facility. You can check that out over on TikTok and the Instagram, see pictures from that meeting, and I'm all for that idea because ease of access for mental health, I think, would help cut down on the drug problem because these people are self-medicating themselves, and when they get hooked on drugs, obviously they're going to go start stealing and lying just to feed their drug addiction. So that's part one. Part two, and I was asked this recently in some questions that a man asked me online. What do I feel about raising the state minimum wage to $15 an hour? So I already hear people saying, well, it'll just make everything go up in price anyway. Well, newsflash, Skippy, everything's going up anyway regardless. If people have excess money to use, they are more frugal. They are more, not frugal, they're more loose with it. They tend to go out and actually put a loan on a house or a car. They tend to buy a little bit more, which then we use the taxes there to throw into the economy. So, yes, I'm for raising the minimum wage because it would help out a lot of people. And I'm going to give you a little bit of my background. When I was 14, my dad passed of cancer. I watched my mom file bankruptcy. I watched us actually have points where we had to decide, were we paying bills this week or are we eating? We found it was cheaper to buy like a $10 pizza and eat that for an entire week. We would just put it in the fridge, eat a little bit every day. So even though I looked like I was really healthy and everything, I wasn't. I was eating a very poor diet, and I struggle with my weight even today. And when I got 16, where I was legal age to work, I started doing summer jobs. I did everything from yard work to hanging drywall, working a horse ranch. I've done just about every job out there, I think. Delivery. So raising the minimum wage would help moms and dads out there who are going through the same thing that I personally went through when I was younger. Another thing that we can do to combat all this nonsense, what in the hell is with these companies charging convenience fees? So every month I call an automated system at AT&T to turn my phone on and keep it going. I am charged a $5 convenience fee for using an automated system. Why? I'm not talking to anyone. It would be no different than if I signed up for auto pay. Why am I being charged $5 for the convenience of calling? And it's not just AT&T that's doing this. It's stores. Grocery stores especially are being bad about it. You're being charged a convenience fee, and they're hiding it in the taxes because you're getting the convenience of shopping there. What happened back in 2020? Everybody can look up the math and look up all the statistics. Our economy actually stabilized briefly. Why? Because people were getting stimulus checks. They had more money in their pockets. They were spending more. They were shopping more. Companies were reporting record highs in sales. That stopped. So what did they do? They hiked the prices up to make that profit back. And I don't care who you are or what pipe dream you live in, nothing is ever going to go back down, period. We are past the days of the housing market going down. We are past the days of groceries going down. Gas, I never foresee it falling below $2 again. If it does, I would be very shocked. I remember growing up and seeing it like $1 something at places, and now it's like $3, $4, $5 at places. So what we need to do is we need to focus on getting more money back in the individual's pockets. We need to encourage people, hey, go take out that loan for that car that you need. Stop putting it off. Maybe work with some of the banks to approve loans for first-time home buyers a little bit easier. That way people in my generation can move out of their parents' house. When we do that, we're stabilizing the economy. We're actually helping. I also want to see more jobs come into this area. And back towards the beginning of my campaign, I actually met with a man who he had this wonderful vision where they're building the microchip plant over towards Cincinnati, where Columbus is actually the largest technological center in the United States. Look it up. I thought it would be like New York or LA. No, it's actually Columbus, Ohio. He wants to turn Ohio into the digital capital of the world. And he's doing this with personal finance. He's doing it with backers. He's actually met with several people. You can see pictures over on the Instagram when I met with him originally. We met down at Shawnee State University. And I think that bringing jobs like that in, as well as maybe some manufacturing jobs, reach out to these automotive companies and say, hey, there's a lot of people here. I know my friends, and I used to personally do this too when I worked up at the paper mill in Circleville. There are people that will drive hours from the 14th district here, which includes Scioto County, Claremont County, Adams County, and Brown County, just to go to work. There are people here that want to work. Bring those jobs here. We have plenty of vacant land that isn't being used, other than people saying, oh, I don't want that area tore up. Another thing I want to do, and I highly recommend that you look this man up. His name is Henry George. He was called the greatest economist of his time. And he has a wonderful book on economics called Progress and Poverty. Wonderful, wonderful read. He suggested, and actually had a lot of support for this, if a person owns a plot of land or a vacant building, then for every year they do not intend to develop it, their taxes should go up on that property. For every year they actually use it and actually have it developed, their taxes go down to a point where it eventually hits a set level set by the state. I want to see a modified version of that implemented. You go to Portsmouth, and I won't name names, but everybody knows the people I'm talking about. There are so many vacant buildings because they don't want to rent them out, or they decide, hey, we're going to triple or quadruple the building price of what we bought it for to make profit. And I'm all for making profit. I'm an old school capitalist first and foremost. You can make money on something, good for you, I support you. But if you're actively causing the detriment of a area just to line your pockets, then you are the reason that our economy is failing. Part of it, anyway. I think that in city and town limits only, not in the countryside like here where I live, where it's middle of nowhere, but city and town limits. If you have a building or vacant lot that you refuse to put a house, an apartment, a business, or rent it out to anybody, for every year you refuse to do that, you are actively going to have your taxes go up. If you want to keep that property vacant, you're going to pay for it. Not me, not the guy that's working at the gas station, not the lady that's scrubbing toilets as a janitor, not us working people, not the people that actually fill your pockets. And eventually it will either get to the point where you have to sell or you have to change how you're doing things. Now, who loses out in stuff like that? Land barons, slumlords, and they will pay lobbyists, they will pay people to absolutely slander this idea, just like they did back in the early 1900s when Henry George first suggested it. And that's why nobody ever went with it, because lobbyists bought your politicians, just like they do today, which lobbyists should be illegal. We have answers to our economy, just nobody wants to go through with them, either out of fear or either out of absolute misinformation. You hold a device in your hand right now, just like I am, where you can access so much information. If you see something, don't go based off the headline. Actually read the article. Actually do research. Where did that person get that information? I put a wonderful quote a while back online, and I'm going to paraphrase it. It is wonderful to reflect on where we received our information from. Who told the person that we got the information from? Where did they get the information from? And how much was that person permitted to see and hear? And again, I know I butchered that because I'm going off memory, but it's something extremely similar to along those lines. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. Fact check, people. Fact check. But I'm rambling. This video is already close to 13 minutes long. So please give me a chance in November. I want to see things. Oh, and companies, so my work is trying to pull this right now. They're wanting to charge us for parking, the employees to park. If you charge an employee to come to work, you are actively hurting those employees, because a lot of us are working. No, I will never ever pay to come to work, period. That's stupid. That's greedy. There is no excuse other than greed. So if you want to give me a chance in November, I'm willing to put a lot of this stuff into implementation. I will fight tooth and nail to get the State House to approve it. And trust me, it won't seem like it happens immediately, but you are more affected by your local politicians than you are your national ones. I promise you, things will slowly get better. Slowly. Nothing happens overnight. That is a fantasy. But if we implement even just a few of the ideas that I've suggested in this video, we will actually see improvement. Put money into the people's pockets. Don't throw money at them. Those programs like that are stupid. They're irresponsible. But actually help them have mental health. Help them get a job. Help them actually keep money in their pocket. You will see the economy start to improve.